Got another Mack today for AC issues. Not getting any cooling at all out of that. At least this one's actually a manual though, not an automated. So we'll let it build up air here and we'll get it around the shop and probably go evac the system real quick and see what it has in it. The customer's charged this truck 2 weeks ago. So we'll see if it's got anything left in it, and then from there we'll start looking for the leak. Let's try this again. There we go. Well, I'm no expert, but there's refrigerant all over this line. We got down the back of the compressor here. I can see it sitting in the oil filter. Try to get in here. And you can see down there, there's residue of it. Probably take the sheeting back and oh, it's all in there. Well, I'm going to say that we're going to need this line. Go ahead and get the machine out here though. We're going to recover anything that's in it before we take the system apart, but that line probably get replaced. I need to see. The lines look separate, but this one looks pretty crappy too. So I'll probably just go ahead and order both of these lines real quick for it. It's not like backing up. Come on, grab. Thank you. So we got the parts here for this Mack. We got our new AC line and our new receiver dryer for it. So I've started getting the system apart here. I've got both lines disconnected off the dryer, so I just gotta get these band clamps off. That'll come out of there. We're loose the compressor. I need to go through and cut all the zip ties back to the cab so we can get that line out of there. And we'll start getting this thing swapped out. Alright, now we got this line disconnected back there. So now we can get the line replaced here. Go from there. There we go. New line is installed. Now we get the dryer installed. And that should pretty much do it for the install of the dryer. These things are really simple. Also, still love these adjustable plier wrenches. These things are awesome. So now that that's done, I need to zip tie this back up. I'll probably slide the loom back over it, get this line held back up to it like it was, and there's a clamp that goes back there I've got to put back on. Once that's done though, we can take this thing around back and we'll vac it down and charge it. So we ran out of time yesterday. I had something I had to go do, so we didn't get a chance to charge the truck. Got it back around here this morning though. New line is in. Got it hooked up. We're vacuuming the system down right now. Gonna let it run probably a 10-minute vacuum and then let it sit for probably 15-20 minutes to make sure we don't have any issues with the leak. We have the new dryer on here. The pressure sensor was broke off for this dryer when it got here. That is on order. Unfortunately, that wasn't in stock, but the system will work without it. But we are going to get that replaced as soon as we can. That does have a Schrader behind it. It can be changed. I mean, even if I have to vac the system back out and recover it and recharge, it's not a huge deal. But we're going to let this thing sit here for a little bit, run the vacuum, come back, check on it, make sure that it's holding a vacuum, we don't have any leaks in the system, and then we're going to go ahead and charge it. We got it set to charge like 3 pounds. Give it just a second to purge. I just had to refill the AC machine. It only had like 3/10 of a pound in it, so we put 6 pounds back in it. Just now that it's got refrigerant in it, we're going to charge the truck to 3. It'll take just a second here for it to purge though. soon as that's done, it should start going. Got the system charged, running it now, and it is blowing pretty cold. Probably gonna let this one sit for a while. We've been having a lot of issues lately with the Macks from this fleet with the AC problems. If you guys remember the white truck from a couple weeks ago where I pulled the center out and had to blow all the grain dust out of it. Couldn't find a leak on that truck. It was overcharged when it came in. We cleared the box out. That truck's apparently empty. At least that's what the customer says, so it's going to be coming back as soon as this one leaves. So we'll see what's up with that. I'm going to let this thing sit for a little while back here and run with the AC on. We'll probably check it again. Just make sure we don't have any issues. These things get beat up pretty good on the farm. Seems like just about every truck's got some issue with AC at least once a year it's in here. So we're going to let this go for a little bit and we'll see what it does. Well, there goes the black one, and they dropped the white one back off. It's got AC issues again too. Still, like I said, this is the truck that had the all that grain dust and stuff in the dash. So I think it was overcharged by half a pound or more when we had it here last time. So I adjusted the charge back down to 3 pounds and we blew out the dash. So we'll pull it around right now and probably throw the AC machine on it and we'll see what kind of charge it even has in it. White truck's got a way more comfortable seat in it than the black one, but it's also an automatic, so it's nowhere near as interesting to drive. Which I'm really curious to see what the power rating on this one is. I looked at the black truck while I was in here the other day to find out it's only a 350 horsepower truck. But why are we not wanting to go into reverse? Thank you, go into reverse. I'm really not a fan of these things. I mean, I get that there are people that want to drive a truck that can't drive an actual manual, but why gotta punish the rest of us with making the automatic so terrible? Alright. Let's actually see if it... Let's see what it does before we even go. I didn't hear the compressor engage. I'm not always saying that you can on these trucks, but I'm not noticing it. And the vent temp in it doesn't seem to be coming down at all. Well, I'm sitting in here checking the AC and I hear a beeping of a horn. Chris seems to have gotten himself a little stuck. If you let go of the tractor, will it go?
Yeah, but I'm trying to drag the tractor. I need a bigger tractor.
Gonna run a recovery on it real quick and see what it pulls out of there. Also, bets on how long it takes me to run into the mirror again. I'm guessing at least once before this is done. Recovery is completed, and we pulled out 3.17 pounds. The system is overcharged by almost 0.2 of a pound. So we are going to reset the system charge in this to 3 pounds, which is what these single cab Macks take. We're going to run our leak tests. I've already ran over the entire thing with the UV light. This truck had dye put in it the last time it was here. The customer said they've had to charge it a couple times. I really need to check with them to see how much they've charged. 0.2 of a pound. It's enough that it'll cause an issue, possibly, but it's not enough that I think it would cause all of it. So we probably do have a leak that we're still looking for. But I am gonna watch the gauges as this thing runs. I want to see what it's doing. Because I'm wondering if we have another issue other than a charge issue that's causing their performance problem that they're just equating to being a charge problem and continuously adding gas to the system. So we'll get it charged here, and then we'll get it running and go from there. You guys are watching there, the low pressure, the blue side, getting down really low, and I'm seeing hot pressure build pretty good on that high side. We've got a restriction in the system. We're back on the white Mack today. We finally got the parts in for it. So what we found on this truck is we had a restriction in it. And from what we found, we need to put an expansion block in it. So we've got a new expansion block for it. We've also got a new dryer to go in right here. And this line is starting to look pretty crappy right through here. So we went ahead and ordered a line for it as well. So we're just pulling a vacuum on the system again, making sure that everything's out of it before we start working on it. As soon as this is done, we'll start replacing stuff on it. Now, we'll get the line done, we'll get the expansion block. The last thing we want to do is put that dryer on there. We want to wait so that we can get that thing sealed up immediately after we open it to try to not let a bunch of moisture saturate in it. So we're getting going here. Trying to get the line out right now. I've already got the dryer out. But they've got the thing zip tied in everywhere. So, why does that have a face O-ring too? I'll have to look and see if the new one's like that. Anyway, I'm gonna have to get the sensor out of here. That's not gonna be a big deal. I'll go do that in the vise because I gotta get one out of the dryer too. So all this stuff is apart. Pull this O-ring off so I can go inside and go match it. We have a master AC O-ring set we keep around, so anything that wasn't included in the kit, I'm gonna go ahead and replace. And while I'm here, because of how bad all these O-rings have looked, there are only going to be 3 on the entire truck I won't have resealed. This one, and the end of this line. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just pop those off while I'm here and put a fresh set of O-rings in it. The system's been overpressurized, and these all look pretty crappy. So I'm just going to go ahead and do them while we're here. Well, we're back on the Mack today. We ran into a problem last time we were working on it that we couldn't get these 2 lines to release from the expansion block. So we ordered a new set of lines for it. Just gonna work on getting those in there right now. Then we get this thing all buttoned up and get it charged. It's kind of late in the day right now, so I'm probably just gonna get it assembled tonight. And then tomorrow we'll get it hooked up to the HE machine, back down and charged. Alright, I think we've about got everything off of here that we need to. Pull the rest of this line set out. A lot of stuff on this is way over tightened. There we go. Let's get out from in here real quick. And that is what we had. Just the problem we were running into that thing just looks terrible, is right through here. These weren't wanting to give. We tried holding them, ended up actually crimping it, which at that point we pretty well wrote it off, but it was actually turning in here in the crimp in the rubber, not up here, which is supposed to be a swivel fitting. So went ahead and just got new lines for it. So now I can crawl up in there. We'll get those put in, and then should be pretty much ready to go. Almost done on this thing, but I just saw something that annoys me every time I work on stuff. Don't cut your zip ties so they turn into frickin' razors. Even that's still gonna be sharp. Go get your flush cuts and make sure that it's not gonna cut the next guy who's working on this thing. Well, that pretty much does it for the install on this stuff. The only thing I couldn't do that I wanted to was get loom on this. I went to go pull the loom off the old line and the stuff was just flaking apart in my hands. So I'll find a new section for at least right here because I don't want it to rub against that compressor and put a hole in it. But it's like 5:30, so I'm probably just gonna close it up and we'll vac it and charge it tomorrow morning. Well, got the Mac finished up this morning. Got it charged up, let it sit for a while. So I just gotta go do paperwork on it now, and it's gonna be ready to go.